Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you are good. So I came across this video. DOG recommends 1 day jail term for officer involved in the unaliving of Brianna Taylor. And I am asking, what is the 1 day for? What is that 1 day jail term for? I need to understand because it is not making sense. I understand how broken the judiciary system is. I understand how everything is working against people that look like me. But I want to ask, what is the 1 day jail term for? Because they are not making this make sense. It does not make any sense at all. I don't know why I feel like they are trying and working so hard to get black people out there. But one thing I know for sure is that black people aren't stepping out. They failed Brianna Taylor. And I am sure that Brianna Taylor would not want to see anybody out there. They have tried so much this year. You and I know that. They have worked so hard to get you out on the street, but it's never working. Brianna Taylor will also want you safe and sound because she understands how broken the system is actually not broken. How the system is working against you. Because this system is actually working the way they made it. It is not broken. Let's get into this video.
Oh, they want us to go outside so fucking bad, y'all. Oh my goodness, this one made me so angry. The back of my eyes are killing me. I feel like there's a heat in the back of my eyes that, like, I have flames coming out of my eyes right now. The Department of Justice, keyword justice, seeks single-day sentence for officer who fired into Breonna Taylor's home. The douchebag is set to be sentenced on Monday after being found guilty. He was convicted, found guilty in November of 2024 of one count of civil rights abuse for shooting into Taylor's bedroom window, which was covered by blinds and a blackout curtain during a raid. So you had no idea what the fuck was going on in that room. You couldn't see in there. The blinds were closed and there was a blackout curtain, and you just shot into that fucking room. You get convicted. He got convicted. Let me continue. He faces a maximum sentence of life in prison, which the Justice Department attorneys argued should be drastically reduced. His lawyers are advocating for supervised release, SOR. You just have to check in every week. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Oh my goodness, they want us to go outside. I'm trying to keep my laughing up because I'm that fucking pissed. There is strength in restraint because it is taking every bit of my energy. Oh, they just want us outside. And then the Department of Justice are the people that prosecuted the case. They won the case, and now they're asking for the dude to do 1 day in jail. Tell me, how the fuck does that make sense? Oh, God. Anyway, as much as this upsets black people, and I know it does, we're not going outside so that you can pew us out there in the streets. We're not going outside. This just sucks, and I hope, you know what? Let me not. Let me not. We're not going outside. But my goodness, look at the bait, y'all. Look at the bait. They are baiting us to go outside.
The Department of Justice has officially recommended 1 day of jail time for one of the officers involved in the death of Brianna Taylor. A Trump appointee serving as Assistant Attorney General submitted a court memorandum yesterday with the reduced sentencing recommendations that would put former police officer and murderous co-conspirator Brett Hankinson in prison for 1 day. And I'm sorry, have we all just collectively lost our minds? Brianna Taylor was shot in her bed after Hankinson and other police members showed up to her home with a no-knock warrant and entered illegally. They didn't announce themselves as police, so her boyfriend, thinking they were intruders, fired warning shots, and that's when Hankinson specifically blindly opened fire into Brianna Taylor's residence. And his bullet may not have been the one to deliver the final blow, but he is equally as guilty as every other cop there. His own department fired him and said he was unfit to be a police officer. He was found guilty of unconstitutional excessive force that violated Brianna Taylor's civil rights. And yet, the Department of Justice is recommending 1 day, saying that there is no need for a prison sentence to protect the public from the defendant. Clearly, the public disagrees. This is not only a slap in the face to Brianna Taylor and her family, saying that her life is only worth 1 day in prison, but it's a slap in the face to all of our constitutional rights.
Let me start off by giving my condolences to the Taylor family, because we see what's going on. For the Department of Justice to be able to allow them to push for this man to get a 1 day sentence is beyond crazy to me. Do y'all see how they unalive us and we don't do nothing? We not standing up. We not taking to the streets. This happened in 2020. Do y'all know how many police officers get acquitted when they hurt people like Brianna Taylor, like Aretha Franklin? Do y'all not realize, man, that this is so fucking pathetic and we not doing enough about it? There's no way that this man should be able to do 1 day. And I guarantee you, if they send us up to 1 day, everybody needs to go to Louisville and we need to be outside that courthouse. So when he come out, he can actually see that, yo, we'll go there with you and we'll take it to you. The same way all them laws was behind Rodney Hinton in that courthouse is the same way every African American needs to be standing behind Brianna Taylor and her family. When I say this is so fucked up on all kind of levels that you can't even imagine this. Imagine being in your home and then somebody being able to come in with a no-knock warrant because they didn't identify themselves, and when the husband returned fire, they actually tried to charge him for the unaliving. Man, we better wake up and start using our heads. There's no way we better not let this slide. I'm telling y'all, America, it takes us to wake up.
Unscrupulous bullshit that is being done behind the guise of the Biden era is absolutely baffling me, and they have just bought Brianna Taylor into it. Yes, that Brianna Taylor, the beautiful black woman that was slain with no repercussions, and now what they are trying to do is give that police officer a 1 day sentence, arguing that the Biden era justice system only incarcerated that police officer because of DEI and them trying to diversify the police force, stating that if it wasn't in the Biden era, nothing would have happened to that police officer, basically rendering Brianna Taylor's life what? Unmeaningless? Useless? She's just a casualty? DOJ is doing this, by the way. He's moving to get a 1 day sentence for the officer that was convicted in 2020 of unaliving Brianna Taylor, calling the move a stunning reversal of the Biden era efforts to address racial disparities in local law enforcement. The Justice Department Civil Rights Chief has asked a federal judge to sentence a Louisville police officer who was convicted in 2020 of killing Brianna Taylor to 1 day in jail. And just last year, a federal jury in Kentucky convicted Breck Hankson, the officer, of the count of violating Miss Taylor's civil rights by discharging several shots through Miss Taylor's window during a drug raid that went awry. He's still facing a maximum sentence of life in prison and is scheduled to be sentenced next week. I want his sentence to be 1 fucking day. This one right here, I can't do. I'm not gonna lie, I can't be quiet about this. I'm not gonna let it go. I'm not gonna rest. This right here, should no black women stand for this. I don't give a fuck how they look at us. Because what happens when it's you cooking a hot meal for your kids and they raid the wrong house and shoot you? This will set the tone for law enforcement going forward in how they treat us. And if they give that man 1 fucking day, I swear to you, it won't be good.
Good evening, mi gente. How are you? I was scrolling through TikTok and come across a story. Actually, I'm on my laptop, and just when I think I can't be shocked anymore by this administration, right? I think at the end of this all, I'm going to sue the government for mental anguish. I'm going to sue the Trump administration for mental anguish because that's how I feel. But anyway, if you're new to my page, hi, my name is Brenda. I talk real shit about politics, history, current events, using facts and research, and fucking critical thinking. Brianna Taylor. Like, if it wasn't enough that they stormed her apartment and they killed her, like, if that wasn't enough, right? This DOJ, Pam Department of Justice, for the man that killed her, and his name is Hankerson. Brent Hankerson is what his name is, right? This DOJ, Department of Justice, is recommending that he only get 1 day in prison for killing Brianna Taylor and violating her civil rights. 1 day in prison. And what they're trying to do away with is hold police officers accountable for racial discrimination and police misconduct. 1 day in prison for killing Brianna Taylor in 2020. 1 day in prison for Brianna Taylor's killer. And I don't care who comes across this page or this feed or on the FYP. Please continue to tell me that this is not about race. Please continue to tell me that this administration is not prejudiced. They're not racist. And that the value of a life of a brown person does not matter in this country. That is what you support. That is what you stand by. This stopped being about politics a very long time ago. This is about morals. This is about character. This is about integrity. This is about justice. And that's what you support. I digress. 1 day for the murder of Brianna Taylor. 1 day.
There will be no justice for Brianna Taylor, not under the Trump DOJ. The Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi just recommended a 1 day sentence for Brett Hankinson, the only officer convicted and connected to the botched police raid that ended Brianna Taylor's life. 1 day. 1 day behind bars for a man who fired 10 bullets into her home. Not 10 hours, not 10 months, not even 10 damn days. 1 day. And the department's reasoning is that Hankinson didn't verifiably hit anyone, that his bullets just missed, that the standard sentence up to 14 years is somehow too harsh for a person who sprayed an apartment with gunfire during a no-knock raid that should never have happened in the first place. Since when did missing your target make you innocent? Since when does firing wildly into someone's home during an unconstitutional raid mean you get to walk away with briefly a tap on the wrist? Brianna Taylor, a daughter, a mother, a friend, was sleeping in her home. She wasn't a threat. She wasn't armed. She wasn't a suspect. She was murdered. And now the DOJ is treating the man partially responsible like he deserves sympathy. And if the courts accept this recommendation, it tells every cop in America, fire your weapon. Maybe miss your target, maybe not, as long as they are black or brown or not one of us, and you'll walk free.
You all, I was doing my normal journalism and I stumbled upon a headline that stated that the DOJ wanted to give the officer who was involved in the Brianna Taylor's case 1 day in jail, a sentence of 1 day in jail. Really? You all, I really am. They want to give this officer 1 day in jail. Really? 1 day. Brianna Taylor's life was only worth 1 day. Are you serious? Hankinson, the officer, he didn't even go inside the apartment. He just started shooting. Goes through walls in the dark. He didn't even know who was inside. Brianna was sleeping. She was not a threat. She was not a suspect. She was just simply at home. He died, and the one who pulled the trigger, the one who actually unalived her, not a single charge. They're acting as if giving him a 1 day sentence is enough, as if her life was only worth him receiving a 1 day sentence. If we didn't cry for her, march for her, yell her name in the streets. The weirdest part of it all, and its recommendation didn't even come from the prosecutors. it came from someone left in the Trump administration. The sentencing recommendation didn't even come from the real prosecutors. It came from someone left over in the Trump administration. You know what that means. I'm honestly unsure of what's left to say. What I do know is we're going to keep screaming her name. Empower Brianna. You did not deserve to go out like that.
Breonna Taylor was killed. The officer who fired blindly into her apartment, the DOJ says he should get credit for time served, 1 day. Breonna Taylor was shot and killed in her home. A jury found former officer Brent Hackison guilty of violating her civil rights. He fired 10 rounds blindly through her window and door during that no-knock raid. And now the Justice Department has recommended that he serve 1 day in prison. 1. The DOJ didn't even let the original prosecution team write the sentencing memo. Instead, it was signed by political appointees, one of whom has already tried to reduce sentences in 2 other police misconduct cases. Let's be clear, the jury found Hackinson guilty. They said his actions amounted to attempted murder. Career prosecutors secured that conviction in front of an all-white jury under a Republican-appointed judge. This is no small feat. And now political interference is trying to erase all of that work. They're claiming he didn't kill Brianna, but they're ignoring the fact that he fired blindly into her home, endangering everyone inside and next door. He was convicted for using excessive force. Now, the DOJ wants to call that enough punishment. What does that tell every mother, every daughter, every neighbor, every black woman who watched this unfold? I can't stop talking about politics. I'll just be careful, because when justice gets reduced to 1 day, what's left for the rest of us? If you've ever learned something from me, please support the work that makes this possible. This isn't just content, it's curation, education, and legacy building. My link tree is in my bio to follow me on all socials. Stay informed and stay safe.
So the Department of Justice is seeking a 1-day sentence for the officer that killed Breonna Taylor. Yep, heard enough. Look, if y'all not going to try hard enough with your rage bait, I'm not going to do anything. Do better. Be more creative.
It's hard to talk about this without feeling a little sick, because what happened to her should have shaken this whole country awake. And instead, it barely moved the system, but you already know her name. But let me remind you who she was and what they did to her. Meet Breonna Taylor. She was just 26, an EMT, you know, the kind of person we call when we're scared or bleeding. Louisville, March 13th, 2020. It's midnight, so she's asleep. Police burst in with no warning. A no-knock warrant, supposedly for somebody who didn't even live there. Her boyfriend thinking it's a home invasion, and rightfully so. He fires a single shot. But police returned fire with over 30 rounds. Brianna was hit 5 times. In her own home. No chance to fight, no chance to breathe, just murder. And now, 5 years later, they arrested one officer, Brent Hankison. But not for killing Brianna. He was convicted for shooting wildly into her door and window. Endangering neighbors who were asleep. That's it. That's the charge. Yeah, okay, he didn't kill her. But the DOJ says that 1 day is all he deserves. 1 day in jail, 3 years probation, and a fine. Because he's suffered enough, is what they're saying. Enough. As if her life wasn't worth more. That doesn't sit right with me. It tears at my soul. Meanwhile, Miles Cosgrove, the one who actually shot and killed Brianna, fired, but never charged. Officers who lied to get that warrant, they're still free. And the federal police reforms that were supposed to be the silver lining to her tragedy quietly dropped. This isn't just a tragedy, it's a roadmap. Kill a black woman in her sleep, delay the justice, hand out crumbs, and call it closure. This isn't about one bad officer. It's about a system that made her death possible and just walked away. Breonna Taylor deserved more. She deserves more. And if this is what justice looks like in 2025, then we still have a hell of a lot of work to do. Say her name. Breonna Taylor.
Every time people talk to me about abolition, they think it's, not every time, but oftentimes they think it's really just about oh, I don't think people should be incarcerated. They don't think I believe in accountability, and so on and so forth. One of the biggest things that holds me into abolition at the intersection of jails and prisons and the justice system is that that system is never going to navigate white bodies the way it navigates a body that looks like mine. And two, my people never get some sort of satiated experience around justice through their channels. And another reminder is today, where the Justice Department under this man wants to re-sentence the police officer who unalived Brianna Taylor to 1 day in jail. And what people are not talking enough about, and it's the same ripple effect from the January 6th having all their records scrubbed, then it positions all these people to sue the government. And Trump, instead of fighting these charges, people can experience sexual harm and all types of shit in federal custody, and they're going to fight them tooth and nail. But he's acquiescing, and just the Ashley Babbitt's family, I think, gave them $5 million. And this lady jumping through windows doing stuff. Right? And so imagine a world where we have to crowdfund to bury this black mother, but this man is probably going to have millions and be deemed a hero under this man. This is why when black folks come out here and talk about what was the same and how things wouldn't have been different, you've lost your fucking mind and you have no common fucking sense. You have none, niece, because this shit is ridiculous.
Let me make sure that I'm understanding this correctly, and if I'm not, I'm going to ask someone to please help me understand what's really going on here. The family of someone who stormed the Capitol on January 6th and assaulted Capitol Police, who was in turn unalived, the family of that person have been awarded $5 million. Again, breaking the law, storming the Capitol, assaulting a police officer. That family gets $5 million. Not to mention all of the pardons that were made by the president, basically saying, go right ahead. Meanwhile, the families of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, whose lives were taken at the hands of law enforcement for whatever reason, again, whatever reason, Breonna Taylor was not breaking the law. Their families' awards were rescinded by this administration. It makes absolutely no sense. I saw a video recently, and if you guys haven't seen it, you need to take a look at it. And it's a video of a lady being asked, like, why do all of these, going back to like Black Lives Matter, why do they ruin their own communities? And her answer was pretty profound. They don't own anything. It's not theirs. And anytime they get to a position where they can secure some things, they can own some things, it's ripped from them. It's taken from them. The position that we're in now with this administration and the budgets that are being set, it is making it virtually impossible for anyone to get anywhere, especially those that have started behind the starting line from the very beginning. And I don't understand how any of this makes sense to any person who calls themselves American or patriotic. So help me out. If you've got an opinion to offer, I'd love to hear it.
This is just... what? The Justice Department is asking for one of the officers who's being sentenced in the Breonna Taylor murder to only serve 1 day in jail, which it would be time served and he would be let go. On Monday, former officer Brett Hankinson is set to be sentenced in his involvement in the Breonna Taylor murder. He was convicted on 1 count of abusing Breonna's civil rights. by firing what this report calls several rounds into her apartment. He fired 10 rounds, and not only did it go into her apartment, it went through her apartment to the next door neighbor, or a couple with a child, and the wife's pregnant. So I feel like calling it several rounds is understating it. But yeah, our Justice Department is requesting this. The same Justice Department that says there is no Epstein list. So here we are. This is what his attorneys are saying. Mr. Hankinson is susceptible to abuse based on his status as a police officer, coupled with the extensive national and international media attention this case has generated over the past 5 years. Yeah, he is, and that doesn't mean he should have leniency. They're arguing that that's why he should have leniency. I honestly don't care if he didn't kill her. He fired 10 rounds into her apartment when the person they were looking for was not there. Anyway, let me know what you think about this and everything else. Please remember to follow and engage so we can get the story out there. And I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, love you, bye.
This country got me fucked up. So the Justice Department is now requesting that one of the officers involved in the murder of the innocent woman, Brianna Taylor, be sentenced to prison for, get this, 1 day. I didn't even know that shit was possible. A 1 day prison sentence. This man shot 10 rounds into her home. And they want a 1 day prison sentence. And get this, wait, no, it gets even better. The reason they say that he deserves a lenient sentence is because of his status as a former police officer and for his involvement in a case that has been so internationally recognized. Because of that, he's vulnerable to abuse, so he deserves a lenient sentence. Bitch, he fucking should be vulnerable to that. The fuck? He's involved in a murder of an innocent woman. Broke into an innocent woman's home and murdered. Like, the fuck? Why are we acting like he's the victim? Fuck the Justice Department, fuck this stupid ass country, and justice for Brianna Taylor.
This is all I got from this video. I was very mad when I saw this video. And the truth is that you and I know that they do not feel that we deserve anything. They do not feel that we also deserve justice. They do not feel that our Black lives are very important as much as theirs. Because tell me how somebody who unalived someone is being asked for just 1 day. Just 1 day to be in the prison. The whole system is corrupt, sincerely speaking. And I really do hope that Brianna Taylor understands that we honor her. We honor everything she did before she left the world, and still now, Black people still honor her. And I hope we'll continue to say her name, because this system will make you understand how there are some words I am trying to avoid, but yeah, how you are not loved, how you are not wanted, how being a Black person or being a Black person that you do not deserve justice. Now let me say this thing. I understand how corrupt the system is, but every human being who may have been through something, right, and deserve justice should actually get justice without the government or the people in the system being biased. But the problem we are facing is that the system is very biased. What do you expect when the judge giving the judgment is someone that does not look like you? When the system has been set up to make life not great for you. Like I always say, sometimes people say the system is broken. It has never been broken. This is the way the system has always been. The earlier we understand this particular one, the better for us. I have understood it, and I try as much as I can to get out of some certain things, because I know the system is working the way they design it. It is never ever broken. A terrible story to life and die for with no justice. No justice. Oh, poor woman. You know, this is what you get, the kind of nightmares that are made from stories like this. You hear stories like this, you ask yourself, what are they planning? Do they want to get us out there or something? Nobody is going out. Nobody is doing anything. You cannot do anything. Stay back home. I understand is in as much as we want justice for Brianna Taylor, we also want every one of you to be okay, because one life is gone. And we won't say, because I understand we need justice, but if the justice ain't coming, the way they are planning, the way they are doing right now is just to see if they can bait you out there. You know how they've been wanting to see you all out there, but that ain't happening. Every day they wake up, they look for something to upset people, you know? And with all this, nobody will come out to speak, especially people in other communities, right? Because it is not their problem. And then when their life is falling apart, they want you, the life fixer, to come fix their problem. Because black people were created to fix lives. That ain't happening anymore. So what am I saying in essence? What I am saying is stay back home. Brianna Taylor will also want you to stay back home and not step out, because she understands what it means to be a black person, because it was because she is black that made whatever happened happen. If not, she would have gotten justice. There are something that happened. You are asking questions. Brianna Taylor was a productive member of the society. She was very productive. She was unalive. She was taking care of her family because she has a family. And there is no justice for her. And too many others. Because we can't count them. There are too many others that never get justice. We will never forget. It's so sad. It hurts that black people wake up every day to some kind of stories. But yeah, just breathe in and breathe out. It will be okay in the end. Yeah. So still continue to stay back home. I love you all and I appreciate you. Bye for now.